All right, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel and this week's Bike Quick Talks. Before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content on this channel. So like I said, in today's Bike Quick Talks, we're talking about different types of bike axles. Everything from a bolt-on axle, quick release axle, and a through axle. And we're going to talk about them all and see which one is the best for you and talk about what makes each one different than each other. So first we got here, we're going to take a look at a bolt-on axle. Let's get down there, take a look at those. So bolt-on axles, kind of the OG of OG axles here. Been around for forever. That's what you old bikes use. My grandfather's Sears bike right hanging up behind me, bolt-on axles. Pretty simple. Essentially an all-thread bolt that goes all the way through the entire hub of the bike. Has a nut on each side. Bolts on just like that. So that's called a bolt-on axle. Super simple. So obviously you're dealing with the full thickness of this threaded rod that goes all the way through the hub of the bike. So it's a decently strong axle. It's pretty tough to actually break one of these. So do you still find them today? Obviously we got this here on my daughter's BMX bike. It's one of the ones you'll see it on probably the most out of a kind of a nicer bike is BMX bikes. Still use them. They're super strong, super solid, and they do the job really well. The other one you're going to see these on is going to be your kind of bottom of the barrel bikes. The really cheap, inexpensive ones you pick up like in your big box store. That's one of the things you're going to see a bolt-on axle for. And why is that? They're kind of cheap. They're cheap. They do the job. They're going to stand up and not cause that company problems. Another bike you'll see these on is going to be like dirt jumpers, things like that, where they need the wheel to stay solid. On bikes like my daughter's BMX bike, the rear wheel can move forward and back in a horizontal dropout. So with those, you want it to be nice, you want it to be super tight in those dropouts, be able to tighten that axle as tight as you can to hold that wheel in place with the assistance of chain tensioners. With the assistance of these tight bolt-on axles and the chain tensioners, that wheel doesn't move anywhere. It's nice and solid and secure. So it works really well. For the price, really hard to beat for a super solid bolt-on axle setup. So let's go ahead and talk about quick release axles next. Next up came quick release wheels, and kind of makes sense why quick release wheels became a thing is people wanted their wheels to be quick release. And really that's what all quick release wheel is. It's essentially a bolt-on wheel with a quick release skewer that goes all the way through to hold it in. Now how does that work exactly? So essentially it has that same kind of a full threaded rod that goes all the way through the hub of the wheel, pretty much into the dropouts here. Now obviously it's much smaller than a full bolt-on axle that extends farther past there. Along with that, it's also a hollow threaded rod that goes through there. And that's kind of one of the big things. It's a hollow threaded rod. With it being hollow, it means it's not quite as strong as a bolt-on axle, but it gives you that ease of convenience of having essentially a lever on one side. You can undo and your wheel pops right off from there. And it works really well. This is kind of the mainstream thing for a long time was quick release wheels. They worked really well. They let you take your wheel off, whether that's to mount it up on a bike rack or to do some repair on the side of the trail, whatever you needed to do. They worked good. We found them on pretty much anything in a certain time range. Nowadays, in kind of the year we are now, 2025, these are going to be kind of on your upper level department store, big box store bikes, and then your kind of lower end bike shop bikes are going to have kind of a quick release wheel still. Still going to be something you see pretty often on those there. Now, downfalls to a quick release. Yeah, there are downfalls to it. Again, with that hollow threaded shaft that goes all the way through to support the hub and the bearings in the hub, with that still being there and it being hollow, it's not quite as strong. I can say personally, I've broken at least 2 of those axles myself, and it's just something that's going to happen. That's kind of just what happens with those axles. It's possible they are going to break if you ride them to a certain extent. The other big problem is theft. Obviously, if you can take it off easy, someone else can take it off easy too. It's as easy as flicking the lever and out goes the wheel there. And that's kind of, there goes your wheel and you're out without a wheel on your way home. So you kind of be careful. You're leaving your bike somewhere. You got to lock it up, lock up your wheels, make sure everything stays all together. The other thing, quick release, is sometimes it can be a bit of a pain, especially with disc brakes, to get everything lined up how it needs to be. With a quick release, it has a little bit of give in the dropouts, so it can kind of angle the wheel different ways. If you don't get the wheel in exactly the same way every single time, disc brakes especially, but even just rim brakes like this, they can be kind of a pain to get back set up without rubbing once you take the wheel off. So something to think about with a quick release wheel. They do work. You definitely still see them around, and you see them still on bikes like this. This bike's only 15 years old, has quick release wheels on it. I honestly wouldn't, there's nothing wrong with riding a quick release bike. But let's go ahead and move up to a thru axle. Let's talk about thru axles and how different those are than a bolt-on or a quick-release wheel. So thru axles are kind of the new standard that's been out nowadays, having a thru axle. So what does that mean to have a thru axle? Essentially, you have an axle that slides all the way through the entire hub, and then it screws onto the other side. Pretty much there is a threaded insert on the other side of your fork or the other side of your frame that allows this giant quick-release axle to then screw into it. And thru axles come in all different sizes. There's down to 10 millimeters, 12 millimeters, 15 millimeters, up to 20 millimeters. There are a lot of different sizes just based on different applications you're using it for. So in this case, this is a 15 millimeter on the front of my mountain bike, and then we got a 12 millimeter on the rear. So it does depend. So there's a bunch of differences there. So essentially a thru axle kind of combines the best of both worlds there. Best of a bolt-on axle and the best of a quick release axle. So it's still relatively easy to remove with tools you would normally carry with you on your bike, not a 15 millimeter wrench that was kind of an extra thing you had to carry for a bolt-on wheel. With this, it's essentially a 6 millimeter bolt. You put your Allen key in there and you should be able to take that wheel off whenever you need to. So it still has that kind of factor to it. However, it has, because it's a solid axle that goes all the way through the entire hub of the wheel and connects to both legs of the fork or both ends of the frame, because it has that, it's still a super strong and super sturdy axle. That's going to be one of the big benefits of it is the sturdiness it provides, the strength it provides. It really makes sure nothing flexes and moves while you're riding your bike. With that, one of the things I said about quick release wheels was it's kind of hard to get your brakes lined up right because there's some play and some give in the dropouts when you put your wheel in. Kind of is eliminated with a thru axle. There's only one place this can go. It lines up into the dropouts here and you slide that through. There's only one place it can go and it lines up every single time. So it really makes a nice difference there in installing the wheel. Super easy, not having to mess with the brakes every time. It's really nice to just deal with a thru axle on your bike. So are there any downfalls to the thru axle? So yeah, there are some. So one of those is going to be if you have an older style trainer or if you have a bike trailer you like to tow around, you're going to need to get a different aftermarket axle for the rear in order to make either one of those work. Because of the style they are, you can kind of see they are flush with the frame or the fork. They are nice and flush with the end. There isn't anywhere for an axle mount trainer to actually mount to that axle on there with it being super secure. There's nothing for it there. So you have to go and get an aftermarket axle, which there are definitely companies out there that offer aftermarket replacement axles for whatever purpose you need. But you're going to have to go replace your axle with one of those in order to use one of those trainers. Same thing with a bike trailer. Because of the design of this and how tight the tolerances are on how tight it needs to fit in here and then it screws all the way to the end over here, there's generally not room to put a bike trailer hitch on the one side to tow a bike trailer completely safely. Now, can you do it? Yes, I have done it. I've done it a million times. I've done it on the Norton. I've done it on the Redwood. I have no problem with either one of those. It seems to work okay for the purpose I'm doing with, for the kind of the light duty purpose I do with those. However, if you really want to be nice and secure, a replacement axle is going to be needed to make that work properly. Let's call it properly. I like that word. Make it work properly on the rear of your bike. So which one do you see most of the time nowadays, and which one is worth it for you? So it really depends what you're looking for. You still see all three of these different axle types on different types of bikes, like I've talked about. You see bolt-on axle still on kind of those bottom end department store bikes and BMX bikes and dirt jumpers. You still see bolt-on axles. Quick release axles you still see kind of on those higher end department store, lower end bike shop bikes. Still definitely out there. You can still definitely buy parts for a quick release wheel. There's no problems there. However, if you're looking into kind of that mid to higher range bike, you're going to be looking at thru axles regardless of what kind of bike it is. Whether it's a mountain bike, gravel bike, road bike, there's going to be thru axles on there. Just because, like I said, it offers kind of the best of all the worlds with the thru axle. Nice and secure, nice and solid. Really hard to mess up a thru axle. It's kind of the big thing. Really keeps you down, really keeps it simple for you as a user, as well as people working on your bike to just make it work. No matter what situation it's in, no matter what you need to do, you should be able to get this to work. No problem at all. Versus a quick release wheel or even a bolt-on wheel, it's easy to get your wheel kind of cattywampus in the dropouts and have some problems with your brakes or have problems hitting the frame, getting it lined up right. This goes in one place every time, keeps your brakes all aligned, keeps your tire from rubbing. It's really hard to beat that, as well as the nice strength and security it offers. It's really hard to beat that in a thru axle style wheel. So hopefully you guys learned something today. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Let me know in the comments, what are you using? Are you using a bolt-on wheel, a quick release wheel, or thru axle wheels? If you guys have any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.